Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Sorry about the GoToWebinar not working for today's date, and thank you for using the one of next week. We will stay on this one next week, so keep it handy if you don't have it. Today, we're very excited because we're going to switch and focus on A to J Author 6. And we have John Mayer, who's going to walk you through this series of lessons and capacities. So, John, take it away.
Walk you through. Nah, you're walking yourself through this. So hi everybody. John Mayer, Executive Director of CALI, Center for Computer Assisted Legal Instruction. If you did the homework, and first of all, apologize for the mess up. I was having trouble getting on myself. The thing, if you went through the homework, hopefully what happened in your head is that the old adage of there's more than one way to skin a cat. That's a gruesome sort of adage, isn't it? Aphorism comes to mind. In other words, what you find is that you can do a lot of the same things, not all, a lot of the same things in creating a guided interview, whatever it is, a walk through questions in A to J Author as you can do in Hot Docs. But it's a very different experience, right? At some level, right? The interface is different. The buttons are in different places. The metaphors might be different. But the basic idea of identifying variables that will end up in real estate inside of a 8.5 by 11 screen or form, and then writing questions and writing prompts, and then using those questions and prompts to gather that information and make sure it's correct, and then to branch or loop based on the answers is pretty the same. Metaphor is the same, just how you get there is different in A to J Author. Hopefully it's easy, it's as easy or easier to do so in A to J Author. The goal was to create a tool that, with a little bit of training, and you could say the same about Hot Docs. The goal is to create a tool that lawyers could use without having to have an expensive or gnarly programmer at your elbow, always having to explain everything to you. So if you went through the sample exercise, which it looks like it's like 26 pages, but it's a lot of screenshots and a lot of, do this next. You should have a good sense of how A to J Author works. I will point out one glitch on that. If you watch the video, and I rewatched the videos, especially the part where Jessica is talking about the mapper. Here, let me blow that up. Yeah, she's talking about the mapper, and she says in the mapper that the questions have a little loop icon. That's what this is over here, the little loop icon. Then you can tell. Now in our new mapper, let me pull it up. Yeah, I'm going to hit the map here. In our new mapper, and actually this doesn't have an example on it, but our new mapper, we don't have icons on the. I'm going to zoom out, and this is an example of an interview where the map is a mess. Let me see if I can hit the auto cleanup, or maybe this was already auto cleaned up. Oh no, there we go. Yeah. So now if I zoom back in here, you notice we don't have any icons on the questions yet. That's something that we're working on, that we'll be adding back into that. And so if you went through the video looking for that loop icon to appear, and in the mapper, it wasn't there. Now it should be there still in A to J Author on the Pages screen. I almost have to zoom this up and scroll and move my. Let me get that out of the way. Yeah, the icons do appear next to the pages on the right hand side, so that's still there. So it's not a total bust. So I don't have a lot to say. This was a video and a exercise about macros and functions. in which the most problem you have is in typos, right? Making sure there's 2% signs and brackets. And then repeat loops and advanced logic. And in repeat loops, the most trouble you have is making sure that the counting variable is set for all of the looping pages, and all the arrows, all the next pages point to the right place. And then finally, the advanced logic. We packed a lot into one exercise here. The advanced logic is just typing if-then statements and doing comparators against variables. Pretty straightforward, especially given you've already been through that a lot with hot docs. We hope that you didn't have too many problems. So with that, I'm going to pause here and say, if you have any questions or issues that you want to talk about, let's open the floor for them right now. Andre or Brittany? How'd it go?
I can unmute them if you want, John, since it's only 2.
Sure, let's unmute everybody.
Okay. So
I'm not seeing any audio icons, so hopefully we can hear them.
yeah, I
hear
think
Brittany.
Andres is self-muted. Okay, so you're both unmuted.
I think it went fine.
I am relieved to hear that. It should have gone fine. We've run those trainings through dozens and dozens and dozens of law students, and compared to legal aid folk, they're much more snarly when there's a mistake in there, and so they let us know that they're confused, and then we go back and clarify the language. So it's been through multiple iterations.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would note, so I've done A to J before. I was in a practicum with Ron Stout when I was in law school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but I think it's changed since then. But I did notice on the homework in the tutorial, there's some differences between that and the current version of A to J author, which kind of tripped me up a bit. So like, I think there's a question about gender, which I don't know that is relevant if the person gets to choose their avatar instead of gender choosing the avatar for them. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. In the new version, first of all, you're right. I didn't realize I was talking to a veteran. Right, the old version of A to J author was written in Flash. Flash has been deprecated on as of this December. It'll be deprecated everywhere. It's going to be really hard to run Flash stuff in Chrome and Firefox. To the point where they're going to put up multiple messages and like make you say this is unsafe and stuff like that. So way back in maybe as late as 2012 or 13, we started working on A to J6, which we just call A to J author now, and it's entirely JavaScript based or web based. So you're right, it is different. Now as for the genders, yeah, over the original design was that the user chose a gender, answered the gender question, male, female, and then they got one avatar. Later, we added the capability for the author to make some small adjustments to the avatar. Gray hair, lighter skin, darker skin, red hair, bald. And the latest iteration has a capability for the user to pick their own avatar and even play around a little bit with that hair color, skin tone stuff. I'm of two minds of that. One is sure, let the user do it. The other is they're not here to build an avatar. They're here to fill out a legal form. But giving the user a little bit of agency is not a bad thing. And that's where we're at right now.
And John, can you suppress that avatar interaction for the user, or just not have an avatar at all? Is that permissible in the current mode?
I'm pretty sure you can. I think the author has more options on what they actually want to do. And even that's not all good, because you sort of want to make the best decisions for authors so that they don't have to go, well, why do I have to think through these things? Why can't the tool tell me what the best answer is?
Right.
But you balance that with giving the authors agency as well to do whatever it is they want. I actually think in the future things like this are going to get. We're going to. What usually happens is people build tools that get the job done, and then over the years you add small little additional capabilities which greatly expand the use cases, or new use cases are invented. Oh, we want to be more responsive to this population, or we need a finer grained control of these types of situations. And what it does is it expands the capability of the tool, but it also expands the complexity of building things and the decision space for the authors.
Right.
And then pretty soon you got Microsoft, 2016, Word, with you don't just have one ribbon, you've got 12 ribbons and an add-on pull downs, and it's just and then somebody comes along and says no code and strips all that away and says there's no decisions to be made for the authors. And that's just the nature of software development after 30 years.
Right. Big oscillator.
Yeah. So cool. If you're all good, then we can end quickly today. Next week, actually, I believe in this homework you built well, did you actually build a? I just realized I don't. I'm forgetting which one did which one. Yeah, we did a hot docs template exercise, right? And next week we're going to switch out the tool. We're going to switch out hot docs entirely. A2J Author was originally built to collect information and then generate a hot docs answer file, so that you had to both build an A2J guided interview and then a relatively simplistic hot docs template that was just a repository for the variables coming from A2J Author. Since then, we've built DAT, the document assembly tool, into A2J Author, so that A2J Author hands that variable data off to itself, and then there's a document building tool, not nearly as sophisticated as hot docs, but a minimum viable product, maybe a little bit more than that lets you build text templates from text, or lets you build PDF templates from an uploaded PDF file. And the main reason we built that was when we were training authors, especially law students, there isn't enough time in a semester for them to learn two authoring systems. And so with the DAT, we could keep them inside the A2J Author ecology, and they can do everything there. The second reason is we're afraid that someday hot docs will pull their tool, or it will become too expensive for legal aid to use. And so we were attempting to be ready for the apocalypse, should it ever come. As well as just sort of, so we had multiple reasons to do this, and they all sort of, culminated in the DAT. So your next week's exercise is to build a guided interview entirely, 2 guided interviews, entirely in entirely in A2J Author. And I watched the video. It should be, again, pretty straightforward to do, and it's a lot simpler than going through the long list of macros and functions, and it's a lot easier than understanding repeat loops and advanced logic. So we won't. It shouldn't be as hard as what you just did. That was probably the hardest exercise in A2J that we have. All right. Anything else? Mark, Claudia, Bart? Bart's not here.
I think for me, I see some question marks in my view of the attendees. I don't know if that means there's an actual question. I'm not an organizer, so I can't see them.
Go to the questions pane. Here it is. Andre saying it went fine. He was familiar. Good. Thank you very much. Brittany said her internet dropped for a minute. Can you unmute me?
Okay.
There we go. We got full coverage.
Brittany, you're unmuted if you wanted to say anything else.
Thanks. Yeah. So for me, it's easier to do more on one day. So I kind of move ahead, and I've been working on my project. And I'm at a point now where I've got the hot docs version. I'm working on a beneficiary deed template. So I've got the A to J interview, and I've got the automated hot docs template of the Word document. How do I make these two talk to each other? I'm trying to figure out how to upload it to LHI so I can like fully test it.
So not entirely my area of expertise, but you know, I used to do it quite a bit in the past. So yeah, you have to upload both the hot docs template and the A to J guided interview in the LHI, and then tell within the LHI portal, the developer portal, tell it that that guided interview, that A to J guided interview, is linked to or connected to the hot docs template, and then it gives you a URL that you can run the test. I don't think I think it's just it's explained as simply as that. But doing it is just clicking the right buttons on the screen. Should we go over to the portal and take a look?
We have a webcast, and we have that
Yeah.
in the developer guide, Brittany. You should have that in the training materials. But I don't know if we want to look at it now. There will be, we do cover this later on, right, Mark, in the last class quickly. I think
Yeah,
we
I think it's
have
covered in the last hot docs class quickly. Although I don't think we get into connecting hot docs and A to J modules, but as John said, it is pretty straightforward. You need to upload the hot docs one first, get the ID, so you can, when you load the A to J one, you can tell LHI what hot docs it should run. And
that was the key I didn't understand. You need the ID from the hot docs one first. Got it.
Yeah, you want to get that, you know, right. And then you can tell A to J, hey, when you're done, pass your answers to this hot docs module, and it'll do the magic. And as Claudia said, there is a webcast, screencast of the process and developer documentation, and you can always reach out to any of us for help back when you get to actually doing it. I guess the last thing, John, to mention is when you are developing an A to J module, you can save your answers right from within A to J author, and then run those answers against the hot docs template, so you can do local testing if you want to be sure things are all behaving before you put anything up on LHI.
Oh, thanks for saving my bacon, Mark. You're right. You're right. Within A to J author, I can actually show this at least. Let me show my screen again. Yeah, variables. Well,
You want to run a preview and then bring up the variable pane or whatever they call it.
I should probably pick like a working guided interview though. Let me go find one. There, a blank one actually.
Yeah. Shouldn't matter much for the mechanics.
Right, just want to get some of those. You go to the debug panel and you can save the file, and it will grab the answer file as a .anx, which then can go into hot docs and say apply this answer file to this template that has the same variable names, hopefully, if you did it right, and then it will compile it inside test mode in hot docs and tell you whether everything worked.
And the biggest challenge, Brittany, is just making sure your field and data types are the same between those two worlds. Because if they're not, you may get a unacceptable answer file that LHI will reject. So just a heads up about that. I know that's yet another reason why using the DAT sometimes is superior, because you're living in one world, not having to bridge the two.
Yeah,
Right,
I think I was.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just struggling with, so in the example, in the exercise that we did, it was a PDF, and I'm using a Word document that's got a lot of like formatting on it.
Right.
And that I found, I had no idea what I was doing in A to J with that, just starting with a blank text. So I didn't know what I was doing.
Right, John, you can probably speak to that, but A to J that does support Word templates, right? But they don't have quite the power and flexibility you have with Hot Docs.
It doesn't actually support Word templates the way
okay.
Hot Docs does.
All right.
I mean, the text template, you're building it yourself inside A to J Author. We don't have a capability to upload a Word document and then mark it up. What we do have is a capability to upload a PDF and then draw little boxes on it for that sort of thing. So it's not they're not the same animal at all in that regard in terms of their knowledge of Word.
And you can't copy and paste a complex Word document into the text template in A to J.
So as long as the word complex is the problem there, right? Because
right.
Because
Yeah.
formatting inevitably runs you into problems.
Yeah.
You can build a relatively complex looking form inside the DAT, but you're essentially using our web-based word processor. It's something along the lines of Google Docs,
Right.
rather than that instant
Good old
sort of conversion. Yeah.
So Brittany really, I think, is of necessity in living in the two worlds, right? Where you have a Hot Docs template, and then you're building an A to J front end for it. And again, the mechanics of getting them both on LHI and testing are pretty straightforward, but that's where you may run into making sure that something that's truly a text variable in A to J is also the same in Hot Docs and vice versa.
Yes, I think I just need to start with the webcast of how to upload things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the when you upload and you start testing, if you look at your developer Elma log reports, that's really helpful, because if variables are not connected, the error will show there, and that will help you know where the connection is not happening in terms of the data going back and forth. And I don't remember, Mark, the name of the error or the language of the error, but it's a fairly common mistake that comes up. And then what happens when there's something like that, the user will report it to us, and then we will email the group in charge of the interview, requesting that they take a look and test their forms to make sure that it's working properly.
Got it.
So fun times ahead.
Cool. All right.
I think we're good.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone, and apologies for the snafu with the go-to webinar. We'll use this one next week again, so hopefully us using it today did not discombobulate the software. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.